The truism for me, another truism, when we look at people who our own work experience, our own work experience, we can probably all count on at least one hand, I hope, people who've negatively impacted our work experience. Somebody whose presence was so powerful or powerfully toxic that they had such an impact on us that it tainted or damaged our whole experience of work and being at work. And it occurred to me that if one person could be that way, then in the way that the universe is physically and wired, it has to be true the other way. And I know that we're more prone to pain than we are to pleasure, or more prone to discomfort than we are comfort per se. But the potential for somebody to be a powerful influencer by modeling deep listening and empathy, and creating an environment where people feel seen and heard, that is a highly impactful person. And in my books, that person is a change maker.
Dale, I wonder if we can get just if there are some additional tips that you can share with the audience about the how-to of deep listening, of empathetic listening. If some things come to mind, maybe for people who are in the workplace, some strategies. I know you've mentioned a bunch already, but if people are looking for more ways of practicing this, or reminders for them when they get into situations, is anything coming to mind? Things that you can share?
Well, some of them, I think some of these are ones that I had to learn myself. So I think the first is some of them. So the first tip I would advise is that when I'm intending on listening to someone and want to be there for someone, then the very least I have to do is I have to face them. I have to actually look at them. And I've heard from many people, more so women who have been told by other women or have been told by somebody older than them that, you should never look, for instance, at a man in the eyes. It's a sign of disrespect, or it's a sign of, it's just something you're supposed to avoid. And I say, I don't think so. I think if you want to create a connection with another person and you want to show that you are attuned to them and that you're intending to listen, at the very least, you have to face them face to face. You also, interestingly enough, we need to pay attention to where our feet are, because our feet are that part of our body that show our locomotion. And if we're intending on listening to someone, then we need to be able to turn our feet towards them and essentially and that helps us to turn the most vulnerable parts of our body towards that person as well, which for men would be our upper body, our chest region, and for women it would be the upper body and the throat. Like our areas of vulnerability physically, when we actually turn them and pivot them to face that person, that becomes a massive green traffic light to our brain to say, wow, okay, we are really putting ourselves in front of this person, and now we're going to listen. And then the next tips are around mental anchors. Sometimes my mind will go wandering when I'm listening to someone, so I'll remind myself to stay present by saying things, a mental anchor like, I want to help, I want to help, I want to help. And that helps me to frame my listening as an act of generosity. It helps me to frame how I'm taking in all of that I'm seeing and all that I'm hearing in this framework of help or support. Sometimes it'll be physical. I'll do a physical anchor, like I'll have my hands at my side, but I'll be connecting with my thumb to each of my fingers gradually and slowly, so just so that I can stay in the present moment as I'm actually listening. So I don't know, I've said a lot of different types of tips there for
No, those are great tips. Those are great tips, Dale. I mean, I love the feet, the intention of, bringing yourself to face that person. It's a really practical grounding in body, and to really face a person. It's very tactile, that, just standing, looking at your position, shifting your position getting into your body, that's a real intention. It's an intention setting. And then the coming back with the mental anchors or the touching of the fingers, it's bringing the wandering mind back into the present moment.